Iran, from empire to embargo. Welcome back to Ms. Shortcut. In this channel we get insight about the rise, fall, and transformation of nations, fast and sharp. In this video, we journey through the vast deserts, golden domes, and geopolitical whirlpools of Iran. A nation with ancient roots, a revolutionary pulse, and a nuclear ambition that keeps the world on edge. From the glory of Persian empires to the Islamic Revolution, and now, to rising tensions with Israel, Iran is not just a country, it's a global headline, particularly for West. So, what made Iran the nation it is today? Let's dive in. Persia, the oldest powerhouse. Iran, formerly known as Persia, boasts one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. More than 2,500 years ago, the Achaemenid Empire, under Cyrus the Great, was the largest the world had ever seen. It stretched from the Balkans to the Indus Valley. Persian kings like Darius and Xerxes were famous for building monumental cities, roads, and the world's first postal system. They also clashed with the Greeks. Remember the movie 300? That was about the Persian invasion of Greece. But Iran's story didn't stop there. Over centuries, it saw invasions by Alexander the Great, the Arabs, the Mongols, and Turkic tribes. Each left a mark, but the Persian identity is living. Islam and dynasties. In the 7th century, Islam reached Persia. But unlike the Sunni Arab world, Iran gradually became a stronghold of Shia Islam. This religious identity would later define its politics, society, and international relations. The Safavid dynasty in the 16th century established Shia Islam as the state religion. This gave Iran a unique position in the Islamic world, and created centuries-long rivalry with the Sunni Ottoman Empire. Great War Ottoman Empire Selim II. And Shah Ismail, who won the war, still controversial. Later came the Qajar dynasty, a time when foreign powers like Britain and Russia carved Iran into spheres of influence. National pride faded, but not forever. Iran's demographic structure is not homogeneous. The northern part of the country, like Tabriz, contains many people of Turkic origin. This region is locally described as Iranian Azerbaijan. Oil, the Shah, and Western influence. Fast forward to the 20th century. Oil was discovered in Iran in 1908. This affected everything. By 1951, Mohammad Mossadegh, Iran's elected prime minister, tried to nationalize the oil industry, kicking out British companies. But the West reacted. In 1953, a CIA and MI6-backed coup removed Mossadegh and reinstalled the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. The Shah modernized Iran, Western clothes, cars, and companies flooded the country. But underneath the glamour was growing dissatisfaction, poverty, inequality, and the loss of religious and national identity. The 1979 Islamic Revolution. In 1979, Iran exploded. Millions protested against the Shah. At the center of this wave stood Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, a religious leader exiled in France. His message? Down with the Shah, down with Western interference, and up with Islamic rule. The Shah fled. The monarchy ended. And Iran became the Islamic Republic of Iran. For the West, especially the United States, this was a nightmare. It got worse when Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. Since then, Iran and the U.S. have never fully restored relations. War with Iraq and regional rise. Soon after the revolution, Iran was attacked by its neighbor. In 1980, Saddam Hussein's Iraq invaded Iran, fearing its revolutionary influence. What followed was a brutal 8-year war with over 1 million casualties. No one won. But Iran survived and came out more determined to build regional power. It began to support Shia groups across the Middle East, including Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, and militias in Iraq and Syria. This created a web of influence that rivals Saudi Arabia and worries Israel. The nuclear puzzle. In the early 2000s, the world discovered that Iran was enriching uranium, a step toward building nuclear weapons. Iran claimed it was for peaceful energy. But the West feared otherwise. After years of tension, in 2015, Iran signed the JCPOA, a nuclear deal, with the US, EU, and others. Iran agreed to scale back its nuclear program in exchange for lifted sanctions. But in 2018, under President Trump, the US withdrew from the deal. Sanctions returned. Iran resumed uranium enrichment. Tensions soared again. Iran versus Israel, shadow war to open conflict. At the heart of Iran's foreign policy is its enmity with Israel. Iran refuses to recognize Israel as a state. It funds and arms anti-Israel groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. Israel, in turn, has conducted covert assassinations, cyber attacks, and airstrikes on Iranian targets in Syria. But in 2023 and 2024, things escalated. Following the Hamas-Israel war in Gaza, Iran-backed groups intensified attacks. Then came April 2024, when Iran launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel, the first direct attack in history. Most were intercepted by Israel and allies like the US and Jordan, but the message was clear: the conflict is no longer silent. The people behind the politics. While leaders clash, what about the Iranian people? Iran is home to a young, educated population. Many are tired of isolation and religious restrictions. Protests, especially led by women and students, have rocked the country in recent years, calling for freedom and change. The 2022 death of Mahsa Amini, a young woman arrested for improper hijab, sparked nationwide unrest. The government cracked down, but the desire for reform hasn't disappeared. Iran is not just a state. It's 85 million individuals with hopes, frustrations, and voices. Sanctions, struggles, and strategic patience. International sanctions continue to cripple Iran's economy. Oil exports are restricted. Inflation is high. The local currency, the rial, has lost most of its value. Yet Iran persists. It forms alliances with Russia, China, and anti-Western blocs. It sells oil on the black market. And it continues nuclear development, slowly, strategically. Some call this resistance economy. Others call it unsustainable. But for now, Iran survives, and its influence grows. Iran's tightrope walk. Iran walks a tightrope between revolution and reform, isolation and influence, nuclear ambition and economic need. It's not just about religion or politics, it's about national pride, survival, and the memory of empire. Whether Iran opens up to the world again, or hardens further into confrontation, will shape the future of the Middle East, and beyond. Next episode, Israel. In our next video, we'll flip the lens and visit Israel, a state born in 1948, surrounded by enemies, shaped by conflict, and now standing at the front line of a regional storm. How did this tiny nation become a military and tech powerhouse? And what's next in its tense showdown with Iran? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next shortcut into one of the most complex stories of our time. Thanks for watching Ms. Shortcut, where the world gets simpler. If you found this useful, give it a like, comment with your thoughts, and share it with a curious friend. See you in the next one.